Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZemu News update apo patinode kupe mafirst hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekusheya. So ndiri kuya ndakatibatanidzei maupdates pano. Tine update yemaarmy generals, tine update yavanelson chamisa richakusiyai vachitsanangura kuti deal harisati rapasa reconstitutional amendment bill number 3 ndozvo kutaura navanelson chamisa. So tine mashoko etiri kutambira pano mhuri yeZimbabwe ari kubva kuna comrade Gageni Ajanga vari kutaura iwo kutoti no, zvinhu zviri kuitika mukati memilitary hazvina kumira zvakanaka because brick by brick yacho yakuti nyanyei especially kumilitary because tiri kuona kuti kuri kurohwa mareshafu, kuri kurohwa mabrick by brick iyaya kutoti vanhu vari kungofa zvisina tsarukano uye vari kungofa nenzira imwe chete because tiri kuona kuti nzira yaMwari chaiyo chaiyo vanhu vanonga vachingorwarawo nezvirwere zvakasiyana siyana vachingodiwa vachiendeswa kuchipatara, but tiri kuona kuti ava maarmy generals vari kufa nenzira imwe chete. Chinova chiricho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti mamwe maarmy generals vakuita kunga sort of like vakupandukira hurumende yavaMunangagwa nepamusaka pakufa waVictor Matemadanda, sezvo zvataiziva kuti waitogara kunyika foreign country mhuri yeZimbabwe, then wozouya kunoko kunyika yeZimbabwe, then wobva waassassinatwa kunoko. Chinova chiricho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti uku angatori safe kuforeign country, but pauya munyika make abva angoassassinatwa ubva atongofa. So tiri kuona panapa mhuri yeZimbabwe toda kuti tiverenge panapa nhauhwa yaVictor Matemadanda. Tiri kuona panapa nyaya kunzi 2 days ago I said exiled freedom fighters comrade Gageni Ajanga phoned me suddenly by comrade Victor Matemadanda's assassination and promising to write to all serving retired generals and war veterans. Tikuona pana mhuri yeZimbabwe vari kunzi vanhu ava ndodezotowanzo vanhu ava vachapera vese retired war veterans. I attach his warning letter, please share it with all your relatives in the tikuona panapa pakanyorwa kunzi ndaparasika panhu pacho pari papiko pakanyorwa kunzi in the what in the security services mhuri yeZimbabwe. Ndada kuenda kunopedzisa apa ndofunga tikuona tsamba dzacho mhuri yeZimbabwe mamiriro dzakaita dzakanyorwa zvakati one day, ndofunga muri kuona dziri kunyorwa nemacomrade idzodzi mhuri yeZimbabwe kutoti no, vanhu munofanira kutamba makangwarira especially kumaarmy generals. Then toenda kuna lieutenant maretired generals iwavo futi mhuri yeZimbabwe, ava ndi retired general Sigauke vari kutsanangura zvavari kutsanangura pano. Regedzai tione kuti zvakamira sei. So tiri kuona panapa mhuri yeZimbabwe pakanyorwa kunzi fellow Zimbabwean comrades and all who love the nation, I speak to you today not as a politician seeking power, but as a retired lieutenant general who has spent decades in uniform defending the sovereignty of dignity in Zimbabwe. I have seen war, I have commanded troops, I have studied system of order, discipline and national command at the highest level. What I see now pains me deeply. Zimbabwe is under siege, not from foreign armies, on our borders, but from within, from the distraught leadership of President Emerson Mnangagwa and the destructive Zvigananda Kabau. Their rule has brought economy stagnation and institutional decay, corruption of an industrial scale, and a complete breakdown of the very system that once held this country together. Tiri kuona mhuri yeZimbabwe ndo zvikumali retired generals vasiri kutofarawo nezviri kuitwa napresident Emerson Mnangagwa. Ndo vanhu vataiziva, ndo vanhu vaisapota bato reZanu PF, but mawar veteran wasvika sort of like paextend kutoti vakutonga sort of like vatowenga bato reZanu PF nepamusaka pezvinhu zviri kuitwa corruption, zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana zviri kungoitika. Tiri kuona panapa mhuri yeZimbabwe ndonyatsaona kuti zvinhu hazvamira zvakanaka. Machiefs akutogariswa muparliament mhuri yeZimbabwe vachiita debate remaconstitution amendment bill number 3 irororo. Zvinhu hazvamira zvakanaka. Tiri kuona masenators ava vari muyu munonzi muikomo muparliamendi vari kudhiskasa zvinhu zvavari kudhiskasa mhuri yezimbabwe chinova chiri cho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti zvinhu hazvinotogombera zvakanaka. So tiri kuona kuti cable 3 iri its obvious rakatongopasa, although wanelson chamisa vari kuramba zvavo kutoti no hakuna deal done, harisati ratombopasa ende haritombopasi cable 3 iroro. So toda kuti tinzwe makomrade vachitaura. Awa ndichief mutasa wanga vari kutaura nenawo cable 3 man ndo maseneta acho kaya.
Pachakanakira chiro ichi ngechekuti handi chewanhu wekunze, ngechedu chatiri kugadzira zvatinoda zvinotitonga isu maererano nemagariro edu netsika dzedu. Pachakanakirazve ndepekuti hachisi kumanikidza munhu. Kana paine ari muparamendi anofunga kuti iye ari kuda 5 years ari muno, kana dzakwana wobuda, bhiro harisi kurambidza munhu. Kana 5 years dzakwana, unongotaura kuti wakurume pangu pakwana, then poitwa by election, poitwa umwe wouya. Yes. Saka ndiri kuti bambo chiro ngechedu, hazi newanhu, chakanaka, ngachiende mberi. Thank you.
A person who's coming from the aspect of saying there's no constitution to defend, and today he's telling us, yesterday he told us this CAP 3 is not a done deal. Our constitution cannot be mutilated like this, and yet yesterday there was no constitution to defend. Today there's a constitution to defend. Are we reading this in a way that probably we are not understanding where he's coming from and where he's going? Is he being cryptic in his way that he communicates to us? But that reality will always remain. And there's nothing that can take that reality from the conversation to say, Kuti, a major political player has come out, not once, but several times. But today or yesterday has been a defining moment in the way that he has come out to say, Kuti, this right here is not a done deal. You can never make this a done deal without the participation of the Zimbabwean people. Let's have a conversation on Omari. If you want to say something, just request for the mic, and I'll bring you in as a speaker. Signoro, Magadi, Dimado Tangani Minas, please take the mic. Signoro Muribuera. Right. My sister Ru, do you want to come through?
Hello, Uncle Jet, what did you say?
Mushem right.
Right, na fever.
Oh no.
In
this weather. Oh no.
I know.
Yes, fever brings in, high temperatures, and the temperature is up there. Come on now.
Manje chamisa batunzi Roma high temperature futhi.
Saka kungobikwa zvedu hazizo kungokangwa nemafuta edu pakaita.
Do you know what? I've always been a sympathizer of Chamisa. I wasn't like a CCC member or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I always take the position equity. I'm quite young and I've been wanting to learn the dynamic for myself. And for a really long time, I gave Chamisa benefit of the doubt. A lot of the things that he would put out there, I'll be like, no, trying to find an alternative excuse. But we are past now the 90 days, CAP 3, it passed.
Mm-hmm.
Then the parliament vote passed. And in this whole moment, he didn't do anything as a way of educating the Zimbabwean people about what the bill is and it's the fact that the issues that it has to our democracy. He gave statements that were almost to say he said something, but the statements were not necessarily impactful. So that's why you would find that majority of the people criticize and are quite angry with him, because many people, I think, have taken his leadership too personally, where if he does something that is not up to scratch, they're very angry about it and they're very disappointed and people are hurt. And so I observe all of these things. But when you see now where we're at and the statement that has just been made, does the question that I then have is that, okay, does this statement come with clarity and guidance to the Zimbabwean people of, okay, if it's not a done deal, then what? And that is personally where I would be wanting to assess. Is he going to bring something that will bring clarity to this, or is it just a statement that is making? So I'll just quickly read through. So, not a done deal. Those claiming that KEP 3 is a done deal are either deluding themselves or deliberately attempting to mislead. Deep down, they know that nothing without the citizens is ever final. In any society, nothing can be done for the citizens without the citizens. So here, what exactly is he saying when he's saying nothing can be done without the citizens? Is he then encouraging the citizens to take action, and what action is he going to give? Then that's the hope, right? When you're reading this, then he continues on to say, the citizens are the ultimate decision makers. They alone have the authority to endorse, reject, and seal any deal. As things stand, there is no done deal. There is no done deal. In fact, there is no deal at all. Any arrangement that lacks the consent and participation of the citizens remains incomplete and illegitimate. If there is one reality that cannot be ignored, it is this: the citizens are increasingly tired of those who oppress, disregard, and undermine their rights. The only done deal may well be that citizens are done with oppression and are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, and their future. Like, what is this? Like, what is this statement? The statement, it doesn't have the level of leadership that you would expect, that he would be empowering the citizens. He's making a statement against those that are,
because a web will actually rely on the other string, on the other tree, to hold its own for the other one to be there. So until that web is created, it can never be created, that Dandemtandi, in ambiguity. It can never, because it has to be done. There are certain organizations that are fighting for this. There are certain institutions fighting for that. There are certain individuals championing that. This is what we are doing from different. If that is not done in open, no hiding, we are not going to tackle this problem. So whatever is being planned, I can't stop it. I have no power. But I know Kuti problem than what is being tackled. Because just saying CAP 3 is not a done deal is not our major problem. Because meanwhile, CAP 3 is happening, there are a lot of other things that are happening that nobody is talking about. A lot of resources are being smuggled out, and systems have been perfected on how to do that. Whilst CAP 3 is happening, there are other bills that are being pushed. Is happening, the confidence of the constitutional courts to just meddle around with our cases with no fear of is growing. And that cannot be healed by just saying it's not a done deal.
Right.
There's a lot that we need to sort out.
Right. But
we are not doing that.
But for him to come out with saying it is not a done deal. Yet all along we've been told that it is a done deal, because I think it is. I think there's a done deal psychology here that has been at play. Probably we are focusing on Chamisa because Chamisa is the one who said it's not a done deal, and probably the focus must not be on him. And I think the danger isn't on him speaking, but the danger was on us, the citizens, believing that it is a done deal, and him coming through might be signaling to the citizens, and him telling us, Kuti, this done deal thing that we've had, it's more of a psychological tool that has been put out there to demobilize, people. And maybe him coming through, he is coming through and saying, Kuti, we need to reinvent the civic space and correct what is out there, and it is not necessarily a political stand, on his behalf. How do you respond, to that?
So the civic space, Zanu, has been thwarted by Zanu PF. Civil society organizations cannot operate freely in Zimbabwe, and they are a key or stakeholder in fighting for democracy.
Right.
So that's one punch already taken from the opposing benches. And for us to think that there's anything that we can do without a formidable civil society, we'll be playing games.
Right.
It needs to be restructured and recreated.
But is he not doing,
institutionalized.
that which you are saying?
Where?
By saying, by taking, the conversation, back to the people to say, we don't listen to this done deal, narrative. This thing is still alive. We cannot, come out here and go out on the limb and say it is a done deal, because there are still processes that are existing, and there are still processes that are still to be, the process that still need, to take place. So at the end of the day, we cannot say this is, a done deal.
We are not God's son that we can say, let there be civil society, and it appears.
Right.
There's work that needs to be done. There's human resources that needs to move. There's financial resources that needs to be mobilized. If you haven't participated in any of that, it's not happening anyway. He has the connections and the influence to kickstart it in difference, because it's not going to happen in Zimbabwe. That has not been done. Certain individuals are trying to push that on an individual basis with their own finances, phoning people one at a time with no influence. So he can do that even way fast. But if it's happening, I haven't heard about it. Clearly, I'm not any of them, because I'm that useless. There's probably people in hiding that are doing it for us. Oh, well, we'll see when they free us.
Right. Thank you very much. Appreciate. Right. Hey, Salim, how you doing, my brother? Do you want to come through?
Yes, my brother. How are you?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much. I see you're struggling, right there. But thank you very much, for making the effort, coming back, going down and coming
Yeah,
back.
sure. Yeah, sure. No, thank you very much, Ango, for the opportunity, and thanks to other speakers, for their contributions and so forth. And I also want to come in and share my own views as well to this conversation, not elevating them above what has been said, but also as a contribution. So for me, I really want to share a little bit about the statement that it's not a done deal. I want to say that. I want to speak to that. Number one, I think it is very important that we pay attention to the context in which a statement is said, because minus context, I think we may end up just talking about Chamisa here and forget what is very important. The time to vote for your candidate of choice is definitely going to come one day. I'm not sure when, but it's going to come where you can choose Chamisa, BT, or even myself. If you want me, you can vote for me on that day. But let's not try to individualize what I think is very fundamental here and miss the point here. Ango, if you visit Zimbabwe today and you take even 5 minutes in Zimbabwe, you would realize that more than CAB3 and extension of the term by Mr. Mnangagwa today, there is another crisis that is very serious than that one, that I think people have not yet appreciated, which is the internalization of we can't do anything. The people have been put into an inferiority complex. The state has presented itself as sophisticated, complicated, very strong, and nobody can change anything. You can't do anything. Our people have internalized inferiority. Our people have internalized nothingness. Our people have lost their agency. Our people feel like, okay, that's why you see whether CDF or all these guys who are talking what they're talking, they trend on Twitter and all these things, but the ground is not like what they're talking about. If they want to be real, those things are not happening. Why? We have a ground that is not fertile for a revolution. We have a ground that is not conscientized. We have a ground that is lost its agency and urgent for change. So no matter what you say, you can just talk about names of celebrities. That is not a revolution. So we have that thing here, which means the oppressor in Zimbabwe is not only going after our people and stopping them. The oppressor in Zimbabwe is psychologically affecting our people. When you read the Black Skin, White Masks by Fanon, he talks about something that I love the most, which is other people were talking about political, social effects of racism. He goes and talk about the epidemialization of racism to say, psychologically so, it can affect you mentally to the extent that you can start actually, even in the absence of a white person, you continue to feel the consequence because it's internalized, it's epidemialized. That's the condition Zimbabwe finds itself today. So that's why you see the whole, it's a done deal. That's why even here on Twitter, there are people here who sound very intellectual, but they are failing to recognize one thing here, that this whole 90 days done deal is a narrative by Zanu PF to give an impression that after 90 days, the people of Zimbabwe will not have anything to do, which is wrong because we know when you start the history of the oppressed, it is not the oppressor who dictate and define when the struggle ends. It is the dehumanized, it is the dejected masses of our people, it is those who feel disgruntled, who continue to fight, and they will blow the final whistle when that thing is over. Therefore, Mr. Siampi and his people can say it's a done deal. That's the language of those who are on the benefiting side. But unless the masses of our people say so, it can't be called it's done. That's what President Chamisa presents, to say it's not a done deal until the citizens say so. So to then come here because we hate Chamisa and want to take us away from such an important thing, it doesn't make sense. If you don't like him, the ballot will come and you will not vote him. But this is an important point, Ango, that is raising here. It's not done. Why is it not done? Number one, the oppressors cannot tell us when the struggle is done. We are the ones who are the oppressed who will dictate when the struggle is done. The French Revolution was not done when Louis XVI said so. It was done when the third estate, when the peasants, when the bourgeoisie, when the people who were engaged in that fight, from the National Assembly to the Directorate, who felt that the gains of the revolution have been found, said so. So number one, it is not the duty of the oppressor to say that. There's nothing, even if Tendai BT had said it, I was going to agree with it. It's not done. That's number one. And then number two, I also think that it cannot be said that it's done without citizens giving their voice. We've seen what happened with the public hearings, which were literally not public hearings. They were just ZANU-PF hearing itself. Our people were not given an opportunity to fully express themselves. Look at the parliamentary circus that we saw with our people participating in a debate whose outcome is predetermined. It can't be done. Look at the way they are avoiding a referendum. The people of Zimbabwe have not expressed themselves. So you cannot say it's done minus the citizens. It cannot be so. So whoever said that statement, Ango, even if it was you who said that statement, I was going to agree with it. It's not done. So don't make the oppressor make your hate for another person be the focus here. We have a systematic challenge here of a system that is allergic to the opinions of its own people. We have a systematic challenge here of national processes that are discredited and disputed. We have a challenge here of people who extend, of a parliament that extends its own term. Those are the issues that we need to talk about. So unless those things are solved, there is no deal to begin with. It cannot be done. Whether Chamisa said it, whether BT said it, whether Ngarivume said it, or myself, Charlene, said it, sensible people must agree with it. And this is what the oppressor has done. to always present some of our leaders as if they are the crisis when the crisis is matic. So we spend here a time here in our hundreds discussing one person instead of discussing the crisis of the nation. This is what has been the crisis. We discuss useless things, names of people who discuss names of people instead of the systematic challenges that any candidate you want today. Those who say they love President Chamisa, President BT, President Skal, whoever you love, we are all affected by a process that will not let that candidate you love become a leader of the country, particularly because the process is disputed. So this should be the synoptic gospel of change, where we all come together and face a national crisis angle. So these people who come here to have their age-mate jealousies, age-mate challenges, which is why some of us may agree with our sister here who are saying maybe young people should rise up, because we were not born when some of these things were happening, so we don't have problems with people. So I honestly think that was also very fundamental, because we spend time here discussing things that are necessary. So I want to reiterate and say, Ango, that there is nothing wrong with this statement. This is the best antithesis ever given to the problem affecting Zimbabwe today, which is the internalization of it's done by our people, the psychological trauma imposed upon the people of Zimbabwe, to think that after 90 days you won't be able to define the destiny of your nation. This is wrong. It's not true. It must be given an antithesis. Our people must be told, people of Zimbabwe, you are not inferior to this system. It may sound complicated, it may look sophisticated, but so was Ian Smith, so was Hitler, so was Mussolini. But today we read them not in the present, we read them in history. They can never be complicated and sophisticated than you united, than you organized, than you mobilized. You have the power, and this nation belongs to you. If it means you're going to die, you're going to die, but your children that are still in your bellies will continue. Just like after Mbiane and the law Bengulas failed, the freedom was attained in Zimbabwe because it's a generational mission. It's not just about you. Our children will find us on the right side of history. That needs to be told to the people of Zimbabwe today. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that's the best statement. Secondly, people must realize that Zimbabwe is not suffering from announcements. That's why for me, I'm not even interested in that thing of saying, when is Chapati going to be announced? That is not a problem. Zimbabwe does not have an announcement problem. The people of Zimbabwe are not looking for when we are going to announce a new thing. The people of Zimbabwe are looking for more fundamentally than the announcement of anything. Let's restore confidence in our people. Our people have been made like grasshoppers. They feel like they are grasshoppers in front of a lion. They've lost the agency. They've lost everything. Let's go back to our people, conscientize our people, exhort our people, boost their confidence, and return them to believing in themselves. Pump some confidence in the head of a Zimbabwean.